take our viewers now to the New South Wales Police. We are hearing an update from them on these planned protests.
Sunday, the 12th of October, the public assembly they proposed is to go from Hyde Park through various streets in the city and to finish on the forecourt of the Sydney Opera House. I've been in discussions with the applicants from the Palestinian Action Group regarding this proposal. Since those discussions, I've been down and had a look at the area which they wish to go to. I've been in discussions with the trustees of the Opera House, and for a number of public safety concerns, I've instructed the Office of General Counsel to lodge this matter in the Supreme Court, objecting to this particular public assembly at the Opera House. I must say that in discussions with the applicants, we have put to them alternate routes that we are happy to facilitate with them. Those discussions are ongoing. They have indicated to us that they will give us a response later about whether they themselves will contest this matter in the Supreme Court or whether they will consider the alternate routes that we may be able to negotiate. I'll also say that we understand that this is a significant anniversary for probably both sides in relation to this. There's heightened public emotions around this, and we understand it. We're not anti-protest. We facilitate thousands of protests, and in fact, with this particular group, we've been facilitating protests and public assemblies for the last 2 years. So it's not a matter of us not wanting them to have a public assembly. It's not even a matter about it being at the Opera House itself. It's about public safety. The Opera House has its own DA and engineering requirements, which says that they cannot facilitate the amount of people that the Form 1 has indicated are likely to attend. They have to have an ability in an emergency to get people out of that location safely. That includes people who are there for ticketed events, members of the public, people who might be at the Opera Bar, the Wilson's car park, to be able to get them out. And as we know, the Opera House is predominantly surrounded by water. There is only a couple of very small pinch points which they are able to safely get people out from there. So it's for all of the reasons I've stated that we've lodged in the Supreme Court to object to this particular public assembly going to the Sydney Opera House. I am hopeful that the applicants will come back to us and we can negotiate something else for them, which is achievable, like we have done almost every week for the last 2 years. And I'll take any questions if you have them. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What's the alternative routes?
Oh, well, for example, we've had a tried and tested route every week, just about for the last 2 years. We can facilitate that. They initially put in a separate Form 1 which wanted to go from Hyde Park to Belmore Park. Well, we can facilitate that. There are other options out there that we can facilitate.
If I just go ahead, do you fear a repeat of what we've seen the last 2 years ago?
Oh, no. What I would say is that my decision-making is not about what happened 2 years ago. It's about public safety on Sunday, the 12th of October. We're talking far greater numbers on this occasion than that was a small group who, for whatever reasons, acted the way they did back then. But as always, I can say to you, we've got no tolerance for that type of behaviour going forward. There's no tolerance for criminal offending or for antisocial behaviour. And if we have to make arrests when people do the wrong thing, we'll do that. By and large, I must say, the protests and public assemblies that this group has undertaken over the last 2 years have been peaceful and have been done professionally. So I'm not expecting that, no.
You've been to the Supreme Court before and you've lost. Why do you say this is different?
Oh, well, every case is taken on its own merits in the Supreme Court, and every time we go there, we are looking at the particulars of the case in front of us. I know you refer to the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Well, the Sydney Harbour Bridge can take a lot more people than the forecourt of the Opera House, I can tell you that.
Do you think the current system is working for Form 1? Like, if you have to go to the Supreme Court so often, do you feel like there needs to be different?
I think the Form 1 system works really well, and you say going to the Supreme Court so often. I think we've gone 2 or maybe 3 times out of probably 1,500 Form 1s we've received. So in the last year I'm talking about. So no, it is a good process. It allows us to sit down with the applicants, whoever they might be, and negotiate, discuss how we can do things safely. And by and large, that works.
Is it appropriate that police make this decision, though?
I think it's absolutely appropriate because we're the experts in public safety. You know, I have people that are trained in crowd movements, trained in public order. They give us all of the advice and guidance that we need.
What I'm getting at, sir, is rather than politicians making this.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. We are apolitical, the police force. You know, we look at things on those public safety grounds. We don't get into the politics of it. And as I said earlier, I understand there's probably two different groups who have different views, and this is a very significant time of the year for both of them.
You mentioned those pitch points in the upper house, forecourt, not many entries, not many exits. Is the crowd crush sort of atop those concerns for you in terms of public safety?
Oh, absolutely. Crowd crush is a significant concern for us. You know, if you get the large numbers, there's no other way of moving people than turning them back upon themselves. And that is 101 public management. No, we don't do that because you can't always get the messaging to everyone who want to push one way and other people coming back another way. That causes grave concerns.
The Opera House bylaw
on the
about
Harbour Bridge protest a few weeks ago. Have you took any lessons, I guess, from that day, and should this protest go forward using those lessons for that protest?
Of course we have. And you know, that was really concerning for us about crowd crush at that time. That's why we objected to it in the first place.
the Opera House bylaws include one that is against protests. Is that something that you'll be using in the argument, or is it beyond?
We've taken legal advice on that, and no doubt Office of General Counsel will brief on that. I've got no doubt that will form part of the submission to the Supreme Court, but I'm not a lawyer, so we'll leave that to them.
Last night we had a snap protest, unauthorised one. Leaders of that protest saying that this is an end to obeying the rules, an end to following civil obedience. That can't help their cause.
I wouldn't think so. Look, we want to work with people because we understand that you have a constitutional right to hold public assemblies in New South Wales, indeed in Australia. And at times that means that there may well be snap public assembly, snap protests, as you called it. But people aren't allowed to then have a free rein of the city, break laws, do that sort of thing. And if they do, well, we will take action. So their Form 1 indicates 10,000 people. You know, we saw the last time there was an iconic piece of Sydney, the numbers well exceeded that. And that, again, is part of my concerns.
Be concerned about should this protest go ahead, that would spark theory from the Jewish Australians and then social unrest could sort of go backwards.
Look, absolutely, we understand there are heightened emotions at the moment from different groups about what is happening overseas, and you know we get that. We empathise with that. We can't get into the politics of it. We don't take sides. We're the New South Wales Police Force. We just want to keep everyone safe. You know, we don't really want to see issues overseas playing out on the streets of Sydney, but unfortunately the geopolitical situation we're in, you're seeing that in every major city around the world. My job as the commander of the Central Metropolitan Region in Sydney is to keep people safe in Sydney, and that's what we'll be doing. I'm sorry, all I heard is, are we negotiating alternate routes?
Yeah, so alternative routes beyond what's happened over the past 2 years, like an alternative route that recognises this is a significant act.
Oh, look, we're open to other options for sure, as long as it can be done safely. All right?
Gangs and drive-by
Certainly.
The legal issue, obviously, it's very much a priority. Another one, last one, and no one heard. We can expect any response, police response.
Oh, absolutely. These are always concerning, these public place shootings. They're just cowardly, and our detectives will work 24/7 till we get results on these. We've made numerous arrests, especially in the southwestern Sydney area. We've had our task force Falcon stood up. You're seeing great results coming out of that. Our detectives, local detectives with our state crime command, will be all over this and working very hard to get a resolution. We don't tolerate this type of behaviour. It's quite frankly disgusting, and the amount of places that have been shot at where we've worked out that they've even got the wrong place. You know, the danger that they're putting the public in is disgraceful, and we won't tolerate it, and we'll work hard till we get a result. All right, everybody happy? Thank you very much.